Hey, everybody, and thanks for joining us for another episode of the Damn Podcast. I'm your host, Corey, and joining me once again, as always, is Nick,
Hello.
Justin,
Yo.
and Jamar.
Hey everybody.
And like always, we're going to just kind of dig into what we've been doing so far in this new year of 2021. And I'll just kind of start it off. As per usual, I've been playing Genshin. Luckily, it has not really pulled more from my wallet, and that's the big theme of this episode, by the way, is losing your money. We're dubbing this one wallet impact, just and based on recent news and Genshin Impact's new patch coming, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, I've been playing Genshin still, just sort of on maintenance mode, which feels like how it goes every in between patch. So you just try to get as much levels for your characters as you can before you get a bunch of new ones shoved in your inventory. So that's what I've been doing there. I've been also playing this game called Trails of Zero. If you know the is it Legend of Heroes is like the actual series name, I think,
Yeah,
but
it
they
is.
don't ever go by it.
But yeah,
Yeah,
it's kind of Trails is kind of like how we kind of differentiate Persona from Shin Megami Tensei. I
yeah,
think these days.
yeah. Because the original Legend of Heroes series was like on the SNES, right, and it was completely different from what we run with
Yeah.
now. Which this series was, I think, all PSP mostly until it got PC ports.
Mm-hmm.
But Trails in the Sky, which is on Steam, on PSP, it was like the first series, and then Trails of Zero comes after that, but it never got the US port here, so I may not be playing on an official copy, but it's
no.
coming soon. It's coming
Just like-
soon, and I will pick it up.
Just like Mother 3.
Yeah, Mother. Well, it's coming soon,
one
guys.
day.
Mother 3. It's gonna be this year. This is the year. This is the year.
It's gonna be.
Do you remember like
I
every
believe-
E3?
Oh man.
Every
It's gonna be a
E3 would
limited
be like
time release though, like only until March 31st.
Yes,
and then
it will
it's gone
be.
again.
Reggie would come up and people be like, "Oh, Mother 3, let's go. It's happening."
Yeah. Reggie, why?
And it's like, "Oh, we're porting Mother 1 and 2. God damn it." Or like Mother 0, Earthbound 0, and still not
Yeah, they gotta
Earthbound
like
3.
come up with another name to like.
I mean, they did release the first Mother on like the Wii U or Wii.
Yeah.
Wii,
Virtual console.
virtual.
Did that ever
console,
make
yeah.
it to Switch yet? Or are they still working on that?
No. Also, not recommended. Also, honestly, not recommended worth playing unless you are into the history of Mother, because my God, the random encounter and RPG mechanics are really dated now.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. But I think it's still got a lot of charm to it. There's definitely more boring JRPGs you could have played from that era, so I think it's tolerable.
Yeah.
But how about you, Justin? What have you been up to?
The past 2 weeks have been mostly Yakuza, if I'm being honest. Like, that's what I've logged in apparently 108 hours into that game. Granted, like, I'm sure a good chunk of that is just me leaving the game on, but yeah, I've been playing that game nonstop. I'm still not on the finale chapter. I finished almost all the side quests though, and well, not the side quests, the sub stories. Because if I was to include all the mini games and such, that would be forever on that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's definitely really fun game. But I'm glad I said I waited before playing into that, because dear Lord, because it is a time investment, and I haven't obviously, I'm not planning to do all the stuff, but I'm interested to see where the story goes now that I've gotten to like one of the really big climactic moments. Although honestly though, Yakuza main story, I'm not like the biggest fan of that. I usually go like, okay, we'll put that aside for now. Let's play some business management with our chicken. Yep, and also I took advantage of the PSN store sale that's been going on recently to get a lot of games discounted. Like, I'm not sure if you know, but I got like quite a few like old level 5 games.
Oh, nice.
If you don't know, level 5 is the guy who made the Professor Layton games. I managed to get
I remember them. Yeah.
and oh hey, my camera's clear now. and uh, right when Nick goes blank. Maybe there's a
Wait, what?
correlation.
Hello?
Sucking bandwidth.
Oh crap! Yeah, Nick,
Oh no!
you
I'm
are
sorry.
sucking my
No,
camera's bandwidth, you
it's
asshole!
contagious. It's
How is that
Why?
contagious.
possible?
Why, Nick? Why? Why do
Wait,
you do this to me?
is that actually included?
He was
Oh my
actually
goodness!
we were actually talking
I
about
am
level
so sorry.
5 the other day. Me and my friend were talking about Nino Cooney.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh, that's right. They were the ones who made that. Yeah.
yeah, I like to call it Nito Cooney. But it's
Yeah, I'm not looking at the
it's such
second one.
I like the second one. It's just I wish they figured out what they wanted it to be when they
Yeah,
were
second
developing
second
it.
one had so many side quests and like that
That
were
and
so
it
boring.
kept like
And
genre swapping constantly because it was
and
just
and,
like,
and
oh
your characters barely got any story. Like
yeah,
I remember when Roland was introduced. He was like this cool president who was
President of the United States.
who was transported to the fantasy world to learn how to sort of
Yeah,
learn how to be like a true leader
and
while
that was
going
just
on
kind
this
of tied
journey.
in near the end. But I
Yeah,
won't
they did.
spoil it. But they basically just blow it off till the very end.
Yeah, pretty much.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
But
and
but
the first
anyways,
game I thought was better, but
yeah. But anyways, I managed to get like the Dark Cloud games
oh
and Rogue
nice, yeah,
Legacy. And I also got some old PlayStation
Rogue
classics
Legacy is good.
like Jack and Daxter and this one was more for like the history. I got Parappa the Rapper because
Uh,
yeah, like if you ever played Parappa nowadays, you'd realize how dated that game is compared to other rhythm games
Hmm.
because you had to press the button like a quarter second before you think you need to press it in order to actually
the
hit
delay, yeah.
to actually get the input read like so that's really dated, but if you know that, you can kind of get through it. And I've also been like catching up to some anime. I caught up to like some of the popular Shonen Jump stuff and some of the and I caught up to Slime. You got because you got to see Rimuru being his godly self, right?
Hmm.
The
Yeah.
Saitama of his world. And finally, my friends have been bothering me to watch The Sopranos, especially since the prequel movie is coming out this year. So I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll finally get to watch it because they are huge Sopranos fans.
The classic anime, the Sopranos, I guess.
Yes,
It's
I've
no
heard good things
Seinfeld,
about it
but
though.
it's
Yeah.
Oh,
some
them too. Yes.
I mean, The Sopranos is considered like one of the best TV shows ever, and was so like, yeah, that's what I've been doing in my 2021.
how about you, Jamar?
Me, finished the move, still kind of setting up the new office, so I'll be working on that after the podcast. But did get some time to play some games, play Doom Eternal. Really don't like it. Like,
Mm.
Really?
for
Yeah.
me, it's too much platforming,
Hmm.
and like, how metal could a game actually get? Like, I enjoy the soundtrack, but it's just like over the top. Anybody watches what's that Sinai and Happiness and Lump?
Uh, I don't
Oh
Yeah,
actually watch Cyanide and Happiness,
Yeah,
but I do know them.
it's like their
no,
humor
I
kind of
don't watch
like
it.
yeah.
it's the same sort of deal.
But
Uh,
basically, there's a parody of Link called Lunk, and he's just this overpowered, kind of simple character, and that's kind of like the Doom guy. He just like runs through stuff with killing things, which is not bad. It's just the platforming's bad.
But I like
Uh,
pushing that. I like pushing that. How metal can a game get? I appreciate that they're trying to figure that out.
yeah,
Somebody's got to.
I guess
Mm.
so. What else? I got to watch Jujutsu Kaisen, and I'm gonna say it. I'm a basic bitch when it comes to anime. I watch the popular ones. That's me, and it's so to me, it's such a basic Shonen Jump series that like it's gonna sell to me. Like it does everything a Shonen Jump main protagonist has and story, but I just don't find it enjoyable.
It's
Hmm.
sold like the recently in like Japan, it's sold like over 20K Blu-rays.
Yeah, it's very
Like so,
formulaic.
Yeah,
yeah, it's like so far it's set to be more popular than Demon Slayer outside Japan. Inside Japan's a different story, but But I will say right now, because where I'm at right now, Jujutsu Kaisen does some things differently from other Shonen Jump series. It just doesn't do enough things differently from
Yeah.
other
Yeah,
Shonen
it
Jump
doesn't really
series.
differentiate itself.
Uh,
And,
Uh,
I
I
guess
mean,
what?
I mean, so far though, I think the main reason for that is the main character Yuji Itadori. Like he's coming off to me more like a guy who's trying to be cool, rather than like rather than some of the more relatable protagonists that Shonen Jump have been having recently.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure he gets better. I'm sure he gets better later, but for right now, yeah, he is. He's not exactly carrying the series. Yeah,
That's fair.
yeah.
And I've been playing Duel Links, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links.
Mm.
So basically, it's the mobile version, like a short version of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I spent a lot of money on it, just maybe
Mm.
100,
You saying that's
$200.
also a gacha game?
It
To
is.
get,
It
to
is
get
It
cards
is
and
a
stuff?
a
gotcha
gotcha
game.
game.
Oh,
Like
Mm.
oh no.
you could earn currency and stuff, but like if you really want to get good, gotta pay to
Okay,
play.
good.
Mhm.
Oh, dang.
So
The wallet
This,
impact strikes again.
this
I
is why I
know.
just play Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist Legacy or whatever that other Steam game is on
Yeah, but you
Yu-Gi-Oh.
can't play on your phone.
I miss
Well, I don't care.
what's that one? Duel Academy on the GBA. That one
Oh
was
my god.
fun.
Yeah,
I
that
was
was
love
that
good.
was
Duel
that was that the
Academy.
GX? Was that G?
Yeah,
Was
that
that
was
the
the
GX
GX
era?
one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You were like attending classes and stuff. But I really that was like the only it was like the only Yu-Gi-Oh game I ever picked up that I was like, okay, this one actually isn't terrible.
Yeah,
Um,
because like I played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh games growing up, and they had like these weird arbitrary rules where like
yeah,
Shadow can automatically defeat Light.
Duelist of the Roses was stupid. Like all the rules
Yeah.
just drove me crazy.
Yeah, that was overcomplicated. And there was one that was like the Battle City arc, which was okay. It was basically just a card game, except you could
Is
put in codes to get the cards easily.
Yeah,
is
I
that is
remember
that
that.
Zexal? Is Battle
Uh,
City Zexal or I don't remember.
I don't remember the
I
name
I
either.
I'm
think it was before
completely
Zexo.
okay. All right. Well,
Alright.
at least you're on the same page as all of us spending money.
Yeah,
Feeling the pain.
I got
Oh.
gotcha. So
Yeah, I got PSN stored.
so Nick, passing it to you.
Yeah, so I finished because I was curious when we were looking at the Crunchyroll awards from last week. Like I hadn't seen I knew some of them were popular, so I kind of dartboarded to Decadence, and so I watched through that one. It was on uh, was it on Hulu or Funimation?
Yeah,
One of these ones.
It's a Funimation
Funimation.
exclusive.
Funimation, yes, yes, so I saw that. It's so odd. It's like Attack on Titan, but like sci-fi, but then also the wonderful world of Gumball. Like
Hmm.
there's a shift in the animation and there's just different levels. It's like, oh, it's supposed to be really thinking, you know, it's hard to figure out, but it's really not after they explain it to you. But
Yeah.
it's alright. And then some of the animation and stuff was cool with the monsters, but I don't know that it should win Anime of the Year or some of the other
It
things that
did
were
get
rated
nominated for
for it.
Anime of the Year, so it's not
I,
gonna win that anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I just remember seeing it on a lot of like the top for
Yeah.
that
It was on
awards.
like main
I don't
protagonist
know.
and like best
Mhm.
director and and like maybe maybe one other thing. I don't think it was nominated that much.
Okay,
Like
but
it
yes,
could have
I
been so
finished all
much
that.
more.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
I feel like there was a lot of missed potential and just kind of
Mhm.
capitalism is bad. You know, like
Yeah,
we
that
know
was pretty much the main
reality.
story. It was
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
it's like really that's what this entire 12 episode anime or 13 I could forget was
right.
building up to.
Well, yeah.
Capitalism sucks. Yeah.
So I don't know if they just had like a limited. You only have 12 episodes to tell a story. They had to wrap it up or something. But
I don't know that
okay.
excuse. I don't think that excuse flies for like for like. I've never liked that 12 episodes excuse. That is like 3.5 hours. You could tell a movie
Oh yeah.
in a much shorter time than that. Okay, that's like no, bull crap. Okay, that is
But
bull
yeah, so I
crap.
finished. Check that out. I tried out the Monster Hunter Rise demo for the Switch because I'd heard good things about that, and I enjoyed it. I got my butt kicked by the beginning level
Are
in
you
Killer
are you a
Monster.
Monster Hunter
Um,
beginner?
I have not. Yes, so I've
Oh,
never played
okay.
a Monster Hunter game before this.
Yeah.
I I enjoyed it. I can see like it has a lot of mechanics. I saw some like playthroughs of the demo later on. It's like, oh my gosh, they're like micromanaging it, like they're doing this
Oh
whole like
Yeah.
MMO and the spider web jumpy thingy it does look pretty cool. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna. I forget if the full game comes out March or
Yeah, it's
April.
March.
It's coming out soon. Yeah,
It's better with friends, honestly.
It's a day one for me.
I can
For
definitely see
sure.
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I mean, I definitely understand. Yeah, the
I
graphics and
cannot
everything
wait.
for the
It's
Yeah.
gonna
Switch.
be fun.
We're very good. Yeah. And then yeah, just the rest of the past 2 weeks, just been doing the Genshin impacts. I think I've beaten the boss that can change his element
Oh,
and all
okay.
this kind of at the end. I don't want to spoil it because it's I don't want to spoil it. Yeah, it's cool.
Have you met Obito in your story yet?
So I s- I started playing. I think then like right at the end of that event. So I didn't get that one sword and like some other
Mhm.
stuff that was like, oh, all right, let's just find out. Like, oh, this looks like a cool weapon. And it's like, oh, it's no longer available because it's a
Yeah.
new.
Because from what I remember,
Okay.
like what I remember, there was Mondstadt, then there was like there was a few other things in Liyue. Then there was the
Mhm.
big thing
Yes.
in Liyue where Child what goes insane, and then there's that plot twist at the end with Zhongli and such, and then there's Albedo's thing and with the new
Yeah.
area.
I ended up doing
And
the Dragonspire Mountain stuff before even getting to Leeway because of the way that like, oh, that seemed closer. It seemed like I didn't realize that whole mountain had been like added in
Yeah.
as the later patch.
Yeah.
So my playthrough was interesting, and I can see that I will still keep playing it. But yeah, it seems the real final boss is not spending money on it on the
Yeah.
gacha system
and
when
also
Jal
waiting
comes out, and yeah,
for the real final boss because who knows how long this game will get
it
updated.
seems, yeah, like there's only two technically countries or regions that are
Three
there
now. It's three
There's
if you
now.
I
count
think
Dragonspire,
there's a
but
total
like
of 7, I think, in
that's
the
what
world.
I've heard. Yeah, one for each element or so, and
So
because like the ice one isn't going to be the mountain, it'll be
people
the
predict at least 2
Nezai.
years of development
Mhm.
Yeah,
ahead.
That'll last people for a bit, especially for some of the Twitch streamers who are pretty much making a living off of Genshin Impact
Yeah.
only.
Yeah, and honestly, some of the content creators are just kind of when we have these content droughts like we've had for about a month and a half, it's just like they've got nothing to report on. That's the only thing they really do is Genshin content,
right.
and it's like, how much
Well,
more can you like milk it? It's like they're
Well,
like, ooh, a new leak,
well,
but
quite a lot actually. Apparently,
when they bring up,
I'm not gonna name names because that's I don't want to start any
mhm,
wars or
yeah, I'm
anything
not gonna mention
like
anything.
that stuff. But let's just say this to the Genshin content creators: please please stop reading spreadsheets for your videos. That's not
well,
entertaining. I'm literally just watching someone read a spreadsheet.
Like
Okay,
but
at
how would
least
we know
for
if we should get more crit damage or crit levels or
I mean,
attack?
it's important
I
to
mean,
know that, but
you gotta do the calculus
I,
first. No.
yes, but don't read from a spreadsheet. Just tell it to me through some other way.
Yeah, that's the point
Well,
of watching the videos, an abbreviated version of of the like TLDR basically of what you need to know for your characters. Um essentially what's annoying about the content creators, and I won't go down this rabbit hole too far, but for a long time, like the first few months of the game release, it was mainly just if there wasn't new content, it would be about leaks and data miners. And then they started getting banned for that, and then they're like, "Oh shit, I don't know what to report on now."
I was
So,
gonna say,
Yeah, kind of
um,
reminds me of the Pokemon YouTubers.
yeah, uh,
oh yeah, those have been going down because there's like
and
no,
nobody,
or they're just
nobody,
talking about 4chan posts and
yeah.
stuff about Pokemon. I was like, oh man.
nobody really does a story analysis of Genshin, and there's a lot of hidden lore in the game on artifacts and scenery and character dialogues, but nobody really digs deep into that. So there is kind of a void for that. But I've never seen anybody report on that. It's always a leak, or it's always like, get ready for this character. And that, but oh
Yeah,
well,
maybe they talk about it in the
maybe.
streams, but someone will have to tell me that because I can't pay attention to every Genshin Impact streamer out there.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, good stuff. Um,
Yeah, so for the news we got, if you guys remember how we were talking about like Game Explain drama and stuff last week, uh, unfortunately, it turns out even Dallas Anime Meetup isn't immune to having some internal dramas and some stuff going on. And so I personally have nothing against anyone in the steering committee or anything like that. But we just want everybody to know that Dallas Anime Meetup is a safe place for everyone to talk about their favorite anime and their favorite video games and everything. So if there's any discrimination that's going on that's like based off of race or sexual identity or politics or anything like that, we just want people to know that's just not who we are. Um,
Hey,
if
at
yeah,
least you weren't you, at least when you didn't when you go here and you join a Discord server, unless someone wants to report an incident that I didn't know of, you don't get somebody going, "I am going to sexually assault you."
yeah,
Yes,
usually it's
literally,
not that.
this literally
All
happened to me
right.
when I
Yeah.
joined some guy's Discord server,
Oh
and
my gosh.
the guy said that within the first few hours, somebody told that to me. I was like, "Leave." If you're
Oh
not gonna
yeah.
nobody's moderating this, well then fuck it. I'm not gonna hang out here.
That's crazy. But yeah, unfortunately, so Meetup.com has had some like loopholes basically for the event hosts to kind of mess around with some things, delete comments, change attendance, RSVP, even like change someone's priority in like a wait list. It turns out, Andrew, our organizer, has been looking into that and is doing his best to close all these loopholes so that these types of things can't happen. But we just want people to know, if you ever feel like anything like this has happened to you, or you ever feel singled out or bullied or anything like that, please contact one of us, contact someone in the steering committee or Andrew, and we'll do our best to get that resolved.
And if
Yeah,
anyone wants to
don't
take over my
Yeah.
position, I'm all
don't
free for that. I
don't
like some more free time.
don't contact the podcast members,
Oh, I
but
mean, maybe, yeah, we're not the experts.
contact the steering committee board or somebody like that. Stuff will be coming in the future. Just we're trying to make Dallas Anime Meetup as the best group we possibly can, the best community we possibly can. So just stick around, see what we got in store for
Yeah,
2021.
Yep.
And yeah.
especially with in-person events and stuff coming back.
Hmm.
Just
I
want
mean,
We
everyone
in
to,
hope.
another
yeah,
couple
We
give
years.
us
hope. Yeah. So
hopefully,
never know.
yeah. There's no confirmed just yet. I think we gotta get these vaccines and all, I suppose.
Oh god,
Right.
But yeah,
seriously, I really do not recommend in-person events, especially after what happened last night. No.
right. It's still a
Yeah, we
dangerous
don't
world
talk
out
about
there.
what happened last night.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything, but I've already told these guys here, and yeah, not recommended. Even if you do get to grind against some booty.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's for the after podcast.
Yeah,
The after show.
that's the
uh,
that's the damn late night sessions.
the late night podcast. Oh no. But yeah,
Fireside
so
chat.
on some very less serious topics, I was looking into, so with the Pokemon's anniversary is coming up. There's some new Pokemon merch. There's a new watch and Funko Pops coming out.
Yay.
That's woohoo. There's also a N and Zorua figure that's not an Android, but I think it's something along those lines. That one actually looks pretty nice. I don't know. It's probably going to be like importing it and all this taxes and stuff. I don't know that I would want to get it. But if you guys are really interested in Pokemon stuff, I'm having a feeling that there's going to be a lot more, like Mario's 35th anniversary, and they're like, oh, we have Mario shoes and Mario pens and pencils and stuff. There's probably going to be more stuff for Pokemon and maybe even Zelda coming up. Um,
Cool.
there's also then surprisingly Metroid Lego set. If anyone has heard of Lego Ideas website, they will. It's like you submit concepts, things that you've built, and if it reaches so many backers, so many supporters, then Lego will actually turn that into an official set. And they've done it with a couple other. There's like a fisherman house and some other ones. I think there's like a spaceship that were sent in by just normal people, and Lego was like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool, and we could make money from that, so we'll turn that into an official set.
But do you get like
S-
royalties or anything?
I think you get some sort of at least like a portion of it,
It's
or
like,
for like
here's
the
our
design or
prototype. Thanks,
inspiration or
bud.
something. I have a feeling most all the money just ends up going to Lego though, so I don't know if it's really worth it. Like
But there's
doing that
still money
yourself.
to be made.
Here's a
But
$5 gift card. Thanks for your
yeah,
support.
right. Oh man, but it just seems surprising that it was a Metroid related, so it's like little Samus and her ship and all this
Yeah,
stuff.
it's the
But
only
usually
Metroid
like
stuff getting developed right now.
you hear nothing about. Yeah, it's their 30. I want to say it's Metroid's 35th anniversary too or
I don't
something, but you're
think
not going to hear
so,
anything
but
about it.
yeah.
Like Metroid's kind of one of the black sheeps of Nintendo's. Like Metroid Prime 4 is coming out eventually, but they just
Yeah, you're
I'm
right.
still waiting for the. I'm
eh,
still waiting for that Metroid Prime re-release on the Switch, Nintendo.
that would be
Yeah,
cool too. Yeah.
it's Metroid's gonna be 35th anniversary in August.
Like,
Yeah.
what was like the
That's
last
it.
big?
Yeah.
What was like the last big Metroid game? The Metroid Samus Returns
Ooh.
remake on the 3DS.
Yeah,
Um,
which was cool. It was a remake of Metroid 2, I want to say.
that's
Yes, it is.
that's a weird
But
way to say other M, Justin. I don't what?
uh,
The
Uh,
baby.
I'm
that was a
sorry. That came out. That
game.
came out years before.
It's
There was
and we
allowed.
also
don't talk about it anymore. Well,
Federation Force
although
that we
yeah,
definitely don't talk
I'd
about.
rather talk.
Oh
I'd rather talk
god.
about other M than Federation Force, though. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Federation Force, I'm not sure. I didn't play it, so maybe people can quote me on this, but or maybe people can, fill in here, but I don't think it really added anything to the plot, and especially since you're playing as like
You don't even play
their
with Samus.
rendition of
Yeah.
Space Marines, essentially,
It's like
Um,
it's about like kind of like the same bastardization that Minecraft Dungeons was to Minecraft.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
but
It's just
No,
totally different genre, totally different like
Yeah.
they
uh,
it, Nintendo's been quite a bit tone deaf to the Metroid community, but I mean, that's somewhat understandable considering it doesn't really sell in Japan in comparison to the West at all.
Yeah.
So I
that's
mean, since it's
understandable, I
more like a
suppose.
West-oriented IP, since we're all, I mean, the West has always been sci-fi buff, basically.
Mhm.
So I guess that's part of the reason the development time's slow, and the reason that there's not quick iterations, or that they outsource it, or that the games suck. But
Right. But going from a game that's not so popular in Japan, maybe to one that was a lot more popular and all over. If you guys have heard of well-known Fire Emblem Three Houses
oh, the
game,
indie
Yes,
game,
I
yeah,
have.
yeah, the indie.
so it turns out, well, there's on the topic too of mobile games and gacha games. There's the Fire Emblem Heroes that's ongoing game, so they have a annual poll uh, called Choose Your Legends every year, and the most popular you can vote for anyone that you want. I don't really know that I really recommend getting the game because it's but so what's happened in the poll, we won't find out the final results I think for a couple days, but they released the interim results, and the number two most popular voted male character, females is like Erica and Byleth, I think. So
Yeah.
only characters that can win this poll are characters that have not won it previously. So a lot of
Mm.
other famous characters have already gotten this, but for males, it's Marth, because surprisingly he hasn't actually won it yet, Mr. Fire Emblem himself. But in second place, it's the Gatekeeper from
Gatekeeper
Three
Kun.
Houses. So it's split community. I don't think it's really done that much, but basically he's an NPC from the game. He's it's funny too because Crom, then the one of the more popular characters from Fire Emblem Awakening, is in third place, and it's only first and second place that actually get like added into the game, where they get an alt version of the
But
character added into the game.
but
And
Marth is just
so
like Crom's just like a better looking Marth in
Yeah, it's
like
just a
every
muscular
way. Marth
Marth.
is just like a generic model.
or yeah, I feel like Crom is he's been shafted and getting into Smash Bros.
BS.
too. He finally got in, but it's just a lot of memes and a lot of tears.
Yeah.
So we'll
I
see. Yeah,
yeah.
that's a good point then too. So Crom already has a bunch of alts. He already has like a winter Crom. There's already like spring bunny Crom.
Yeah.
It's a game.
Yeah, they do the seasonal characters, and that's when I really had to dip. I was like, yeah, I can't. I can't do
Yeah.
this. And what
It's
really
definitely more
got me with
premium.
that one is that there's stat priorities on the characters you pull, and I was like, oh, I finally got the well, they have 5 stars in that one too, right? Because they have a 5-star system. And I was like, oh, I got the 5-star I wanted, but she has a preference towards defense. She's fucking
The
useless.
thing is,
Thanks.
you can get like a negative attack. Yeah,
Yeah, and I
like
was like,
Ivy's like Pokemon sort
it's
of.
hard enough to
But
pull them already, and I got to worry about
yeah,
that. No,
it's so
I'm
bad.
good.
And then I played it, and I see other like you can play against other like people that play the game not in real time, like the AI controls their characters, and you can see like the stuff they put on their characters, and you'll see some like they must have spent $100 on this one little mini sprite to get all the weapons and all the abilities that they have, and like multiple
Uh,
copies of the same character. That's the 3% chance
look,
to get. And it's
you're
like,
calling me out again, Nick, and I really don't
oh no,
appreciate this. Every podcast.
my bad. So that's
sorry guys, I gotta head out.
oh sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see you
Gotta
later,
head
Justin.
out.
But yeah, to get through some of these other stories, then I was recently hearing about Dr. K is a Twitch streamer psychiatrist that was featured recently on NPR. If you guys haven't heard of him, is very interesting in that he kind of talks with some of like popular streamers that you may have heard of, like Willie Pichu and Michael Reeves and like other famous gamers and stuff, and just kind of working with them through issues that they have and that we've all been experiencing with COVID and stuff too, isolation. But he just has some really down to earth psychological just concepts that he's had, like with the Maslow's hierarchy of needs pyramid. And turns out that there's like another pyramid on top of that pyramid that's essentially like explaining and creating for other people. The pyramid itself is like just focused on yourself, like shelter and all this stuff to like personal fulfillment. But then it turns out after that, like, well, what else do I want to do maybe now? And it's like that upper level is doing things and creating things for other people. That's very interesting. And if anyone is like feeling kind of down and got COVID's got them down, he's just a very cheerful, popular type of personality. And he's talked with some of potentially your favorite Twitch streamers about some of their personal issues potentially. So this is a pretty interesting thing.
Yeah. Question, Nick. Did he talk about like what he does to kind of alleviate the kind of isolation and COVID stress that almost everybody's dealing with?
Yeah, there's definitely some of that. A lot of his more because he streams it on Twitch then of all things, and a lot he's been having more popular VODs, I guess, that have occurred this past year during the whole lockdown situation and everything like that, and just kind of talking about like ways to reconnect those social links in a sense that we tend to kind of let let go or forget about, especially during this time that it's like, yeah, you literally can't gather in groups of more than 10 or so. But it's just very interesting. I've never heard of like I took a psychology like 101 class back in college, but all that stuff was like really outdated and all this stuff. And he's really trying to modernize it and uh, bring these kind of old concepts from psychologists and stuff, but like into the modern times and
That's
how
really
to,
good.
yeah, find connections and keep up your own self-esteem and just keep going even in these pretty crazy times. Speaking of crazy times, we do want to mention for this next story, uh, we're not financial advisors. We're not trained or qualified in any of that, but we have some knowledge, but we're not going to give you any financial advice to for you to make any decisions. We're just wanting to let you know what's going on. I'm sure you've probably heard of what's going on.
So basically, everything you hear now
Yes.
is
Yeah.
just our opinion. So
Exactly. So yeah, if you've heard of this small little company maybe called GameStop, there's been gosh, I over the past 2 weeks, there's been so many things. It's been difficult to even just keep track of all the stuff that's been going on. At first, their stocks went up 1,500% from $3 for the stocks. The company, in case you haven't heard of them, they're kind of been on the downhill. The brick and mortar businesses in
Yeah,
general, and
I think we
the
all saw it coming.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Considering like just how many other retailer options there is for games anymore, and GameStop
Mm.
over the years has just refused to innovate in any way possible to perfect their business model. But I
And I'm pretty sure like everyone's had an experiences like reselling games back to them, and it's like, oh, the best I can do is like $5
Yeah.
in store
yeah
credit,
Or the game's
and
too old or just
they'll come up with
random things.
anything. Yeah, and like I have a soft spot in my heart for them just because it, if you go to a mall and you don't maybe want to go to any of like the other like clothing stores or like other stores and like, oh, there's a GameStop. Well, at least I can go
yeah
check out there and
Yeah,
like see
look at
what
some Funko
merch
Pops.
and stuff. Yeah.
hmm but
So
yeah
it turns out, yeah, the stock went up to $400 over the weekend. A subreddit called Wall Street Bets then has kind of been they've been seeing that the stock was not doing so great, and so some people on Wall Street themselves have been doing what's called a short sale. So they're basically speculating that's like, hey, these guys they haven't been doing so great. They're probably going to keep going down. So let's like bet on that they're going to continue to go down. They will borrow money and then like wait for the
hmm
stock to go down further and then sell it back. And these Reddit
yeah
Wall Street Bets subreddit guys were like, wait a second, that's illegal.
It's essentially the opposite of selling a pre-owned game at GameStop and getting less. A short seller,
Yeah,
from the way I understand it, um, they're loaned shares of GameStop. They're essentially getting shares of GameStop that they don't actually own, and they sell them at the current price, the current bid, and then they expect it to go down, so they make that profit. Like for example, if they got $1,000 worth of shares, and then they sold them at $1,000, and then it goes down to 900. They scrape $100 profit off that, and then they buy the 900 again. They sell it again for a higher price, and then it gets lower. So it's the opposite of trading in a pre-owned game
Yeah.
at GameStop. You make money, and then they lose on the pre-owned. But um, yeah, it's interesting because the if you are involved in stock Reddits or Discord or just investments in general, they did the due diligence to essentially reach out and find these purchases, and I don't even know if you'd really call them purchases, but that these hedge funds were getting involved in GameStop and that they had acquired over 120% of GameStop's shares
it's yeah,
in an
that's
attempt to short.
illegal thing number three
And
because you can't do more than 100% of the
I
company's
don't know if it's
stocks
illegal
pretty
or
much.
not, actually. I didn't check, but if it is, then,
Yeah.
but
I heard somewhere, yeah, that it had gotten up to like 140% of their
yeah,
available
yeah.
stocks, and
And,
that was you're not supposed to do that. That
and
was
Yeah.
yeah, because essentially if it falls through, the company can't cover it and they have to liquidate.
Right.
Um, which is what happened once Reddit found out they had, front loaded it 140%, and they're like, hey, if we match their bet here and we make the stock inflate, then they'll have to sell off their shares just to get by. And if they sell off their shares at a much higher price than they got them loaned, then they take a hit. Which is essentially what kept happening over and over and over and over. And eventually to the point that the major hedge fund involved in this went was ready to file bankruptcy, but they got bailed out by I think another hedge fund or a financing company. So they got bailed out of that, and they got financed the difference. But I still think they're probably going to go bankrupt if they're still invested, because I know the subreddit as of wait, was yesterday 29th. Yeah, so as of
yes,
the
we're recording this
29th.
on Saturday today.
Yeah,
There may be more updates still even to
as
come.
of the 29th, well, there's not going to be anything happening over the weekend because stocks
Yeah.
don't move over the weekend. But as of the 29th, when markets closed yesterday, they beat the shorts again at 325 is when the market closed on GameStop. And if they met it at 320 or greater, then the hedge funds took another loss. So um, I was there for that milestone. I had a little bit in, and I was
Oh,
like,
nice.
fuck 'em. Get 'em. No, but it's cool. It feels like it feels like a lot of the people involved had sort of a personal stake in it. I know a lot of the people on the subreddit from when I started following it. I wasn't there at the inception of all this, but I was there for at least half to 75% of it, and I saw that a lot of these people were just ordinary people, just a little bit of money they're not afraid to lose. And then some other people had a little bit of a personal stake in it, that the housing market crash in 2008 and the market crash in 2008 uh, essentially destroyed their lives. And they're like, hey, it's about time we kind of mess Wall Street up for once.
Yeah,
Um,
because the only people that you're hurting are people that have multiple boats, and
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
it's
And their
really
dog has boats.
I
yeah,
know. I
it's
know. And
finally an opportunity for the 99% to kind of do something by putting in $50 at the stock that you know all their friends are also doing, and
Yeah.
uh,
it's been really cool.
Yeah,
I know.
it's getting people actually involved with their finances
Yeah,
instead of just putting it in the bank. They're actually looking at
yeah.
maybe
This is a good
investment
thing.
is the actual thing.
This is a good thing that so many retail investors, which is, if you don't know what that is, it's the individual investor, you and me, who go in, make an account at a brokerage and invest. Um, a lot more people are interested in investing now, so I think it's going to be, while people are upset that the market's getting shook right now because people are selling their long-term shares to buy GameStop. I think it's going to be overall growth for the market because there's a lot more retail
Mhm.
investors now who have kind of seen the stock market in a new light, and they're going to take their savings more seriously, or maybe look towards it as a new hobby that they can make a little money on here and there. So I think you'll see more. I think we'll see more like growth in the stock market as a result of
Yeah.
this too, and hopefully positive regulation, which we'll get into. But yeah, it's been interesting. It's been an interesting couple days. Very
Yeah, there's a lot
stressful.
of
Very
different
stressful.
aspects to it. It's we're not gonna have time to probably cover everything about it. But some interesting things then too was with the Robinhood app. Then it's one of the most popular free apps essentially to buy and sell stocks. But then they got in hot water
Mm-hmm.
because I think it was like Wednesday or so this last week. They
Uh,
were like, "Oh, actually, everybody you can't buy a GameStop anymore. You can't buy as like AMC and some other that the Reddit guys were hopping on the bandwagon with, and uh, then so
just
that's like illegal
Thursday.
thing number 3 or 4 or so because like they shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah,
They
they
shouldn't be able to just arbitrarily say like, oh no, that stock you can't do because it's making our hedge fund managers uh, upset. Like
the SEC said they're going to look into that, the legalities of it, because in there's a regulation in place where a brokerage is supposed to, attempt to get you those shares as much as they can, like by any means possible to get those shares. And if those means are gone, like if the system's flooded and the systems go down, the servers can't initiate the transfer, then that's another thing. But when you're actively blocking investors, retail investors, from making those trades, but hedge fund managers and short sellers can still make sells and buys, then that's just ridiculous.
let me actually, that reminded me, it's even more direct. Turns out a lot of Robinhood's transactions are done through Citadel, and who is like one of Citadel's best backers?
Yeah,
Turns out Melvin Capital.
yeah.
Uh, turns out it's just a whole lot of
The
shenanigans,
hedge
a
fund
whole
that
lot of
got fucked up.
the
So,
first hedge fund that went bankrupt from
yeah,
this was Melvin Capital. I
Oh,
yeah.
don't. I
so
probably shouldn't even know all of this. Oh, hey, Justin.
It's
So we
Hey,
just got
welcome.
interesting. Yeah,
into all
game
the
the,
shenanigans going
the
on.
game
Mhm.
stonks.
uh,
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, it's really weird. After this, I have had an anxious couple of days watching this because like once Robinhood said, "Hey, you can't buy anymore," I'm on like, when are they gonna tell me I can't sell? When are they gonna? They've been automatically selling
Oh yeah.
people's shares too. Like,
Oh
people's
wow.
shares have been sold without their permission, and they could have taken a huge financial hit on that if it wasn't sold at a high. If they sold it at a dip from where they bought it, then they could lose thousands of dollars. So it's something very serious. And going forward, I don't take any financial advice from us. But if I can say one thing, I wouldn't use this app if you're a new investor. I would just cut it out from the get go. Don't start on Robinhood. Start on Webull, somewhere else. Um, I recommend Webull right now because they're actually one of the ones who, while they did block initially, they doubled back and they're like, hey, this is actually kind of fucked up. We shouldn't just budge like this. And from what I've heard, their CEO was kind of pressured into doing it really early, but they doubled back on it, so they're hopefully one of the good ones. But yeah, you got to be a little bit careful with these brokerages going forward.
Do your research.
Yeah, but yeah, it's so weird because an app being named Robinhood just kind of turning around and screwing people over like that is just
Robinhood, you
hilarious.
betrayed us. You betrayed us.
Another fun fact:
Turning wheels.
a lot of people have been deleting their Robinhood apps and leaving 1-star reviews on them.
Yeah,
But then it turns out, Google, it's been proven like they deleted over 100 reviews. I mean, people were review bombing it, but like justifiably. But then Google deleted all those reviews, and so their app star rating on like the Google store is like back up to 4 stars or
yeah,
so.
like
But it's
4.7 or something now, or
yeah,
4.5.
and so that's like even Google. I mean, I bet you there's some rich people in Google that are
Oh, yeah.
losing money
Oh,
because
absolutely.
of these things. I don't want to speculate all too much, but there's just been a lot of people that are trying to maintain status quo. I feel like in upper
Yeah,
level
I mean,
positions
it's
that
always
are
going to be
really
that
getting
way.
shaken up by this. And yeah,
Yeah, but also there's been a couple other movements too, like allegedly Wall Street Bets also was trying to get some waves of people going towards AMC, Nokia, um,
American
BlackBerry.
Airlines.
I heard American Airlines a couple times. What I did see is I saw a few Wall Street Bets mods actually go in and say, "Hey, these are false accounts actually coming in, newly made Reddit accounts coming in telling people to throw money at AMC, throw money at Nokia." Um, and what people speculate is that this was to kind of take some of the heat off GameStop, so people would divert their funds towards AMC and other areas that there wasn't such of a big short or hedge fund investment. So it was sort of there was some foul play from the sound of it going on the subreddit too. Um, but it's been wild. It's been really crazy and hectic. And not to mention the recent Dogecoin uh, rage that's going on is people started like reaching out to Elon Musk and they're like, "Hey, tweet about Dogecoin," and then like another subreddit called Satoshi Street Bets. They started a movement to invest like Thursday on the 28th, and Dogecoin went from um like I think half a penny to like 7 cents. So you could if you would have bought in technically like you would have bought in at half a penny, you'd be up almost like 700% or more.
yeah.
So
My
it's like
sister
crazy.
messaged me about this at like 10 o'clock, I think, on Friday or Thursday or so. It was like, hey, you got it. You gotta get these. You gotta get these crypto coins. And I'm looking into it, but
Yeah. I mean,
she made
it's
a lot of
still
money.
cheap
So
now.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
still
yeah,
cheap.
It's back to like 2 cents. So
Yeah, it's deflated since then, but it's gonna be a
yeah. I'm
dollar,
hoping that they
guys.
took
It's
it
gonna
out
be a
before it
dollar.
went back down. But it's interesting.
Yeah, it's investing's always risky, and you can double, even triple that when it comes to cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is a hard thing to really weigh in on and expect it to inflate. So yeah, but
Until I mean, I blame for all of this. I'm pretty sure what's caused all of it was everyone has been inside playing Animal Crossing this whole past year, and there's a feature in the game called the stock market for turnip stocks. Then and so everybody now we all know how that works. You got to buy them low, and you got to go to other people's islands. And you
Yeah,
got
Nah,
to
it's
put
that's
basically
together.
like trading.
Pretty
At
much,
that
it
point.
really is. Like, yeah. So that's that's my theory.
But yeah,
But
I
yeah,
mean, it's been a crazy week, but I think we've beaten this topic to death, honestly.
mm,
But if you want to do your more research, your due diligence here, it's all online.
You
Um,
know,
make
our own
sure,
Discord is still talking about it to this
yeah,
Yep.
day. Yeah, about got the yeah, sticking it to the man.
Yep. Let
yeah.
the poor people make money for once.
Hmm.
yeah. Hopefully, it works out for everybody.
Speaking of poor
Um,
people,
oh,
Justin, anime fans, how they doing? What's the anime news this week?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
the
The anime news
transition.
has unfortunately been, or fortunately, depending on your point of view, been pretty poor for the while. It's just like a load of like it's like a load of non-drama about like yeah the Crunchyroll Wars are announced for like February 19th, but let's be honest, no one cares. And if you do care, you probably have an issue. just like all the people who only play Overwatch and that's the only game they play.
At each
And
their
It's
own.
so good. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
in more positive news, if you've heard of this series, Nana has been rescued from licensing hell by Sentai Filmworks.
How does
And
Nana?
yeah, Nana, sorry, I
uh,
mispronounced
talent,
that.
talentless
But
now. No.
yeah,
Nah,
Nana. If you don't know, Nana is like this really critically acclaimed shojo. Oh wait, well, no, well, more josei really, josei series that that was that was kind of popular back when it first came out, but it's faded away now. It's about these two women who's nicknamed I think that's their nicknames at least are or get abbreviated to Nana. And yeah, it used to be on Netflix for a while, but it got taken off,
Yep.
and it's been in licensing hell for a while. But now Sentai is picking it up, and yeah, now Sentai rescues another forgotten classic, just like they did with Legend of Galactic Heroes, and I'm sure there's something else I'm not thinking of. I don't think they have Rose.
Higurashi.
Oh yeah, Higurashi. I don't think they have Rose of Versailles.
No, that was Lucky Penny, but Lucky Penny, I think, let it go.
Yeah, they did. It's hard to get Rose of Versailles stuff right now. I know Rosa Versailles was streaming somewhere before it got taken off. And so yeah, if you are one of those people who remember High Dive exists, then yeah, you can get to watch Nana pretty soon and see what
Nice.
the hubbub is about. At least if you remember the hubbub, because yeah, Nana did not survive very well in public consciousness over time, I find, which is a bit of a shame. It did end a little weakly, I'll admit, but it was and okay, and also it's a bit slow. Like it takes a little while to get going, but it's a decent drama show if you're into that. And in a somewhat more serious news, although it's still developing at the time, Promise Neverland is apparently taking heat for cutting out one of its best arcs from the anime adaptation. I don't really know much about the arc other than like it's like the kids going on training to survive. But from what I've heard, it's basically the equivalent of Naruto cutting out the Chunin exam, or Bleach cutting out the Soul Society arc, or One Piece cutting out the Rescue Ace arc, or My Hero Academia cutting out the Sports Festival arc, or even the Stain arc. Maybe I don't know.
Hmm.
It's basically yeah that apparently the reason for that is because the is due to the author's request, due to the manga not ending very good. Or from what I've heard, there's been quite a bit of backlash in it in the Western anime community. I've heard there's an even worse backlash in Japan, but I cannot confirm that. Or well, I can, but I haven't been able to confirm that. And so as an anime only, I can't really say too much about that because manga fans can be really crazy at times. They've been real crazy over like some of the stuff in Attack on Titan. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not touching that. Okay. You complain about the CG in Attack on Titan, which you can because the CG is noticeable, but it's not like yeah, it does suck that it doesn't look the Titans don't look quite as good as they did anymore, but it's like whatever.
Yeah, I mean it's better than Berserk.
To be fair, the only thing that can make Berserk look good is X Arm. Yeah, like seriously. Yeah, and for the record, there has been no news on X Arm since its disastrous launch. It's a shit CG anime, and we have all accepted that. Yeah. So well, we'll have to see how this situation goes out. Maybe they'll like reintroduce the arc later. Maybe there's some other things going on, but I have seen the backlash, and well, for the manga fans, I'm sorry, but for people like me who just watch the anime, I can say that the show is perfectly there. Yeah,
The
it's
thing.
there.
It's a show.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. And Nick, do you still want to talk about Project K, or do you want to skip
Eh,
that?
So I started watching the second season of Project K,
Oh,
The movie.
just to see like where it
oh.
is going. On Hulu, they have both seasons. I didn't see the movie though.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, the
that
movie
interconnects the two seasons.
kind of
Interesting.
goes into it.
Because yeah, it just seemed kind of weird, like where it ended. These guys, this is like the only show that they've made.
No, it's
This
not.
K
They've
Project
made
K.
more shows.
Is
They
that
just it's
Have they
just
Gohan's?
made
that
more since then?
yeah, it's
Gohan's,
Gohan.
It's
yeah.
Gohan's.
It's
Yeah.
just that it's just that Gohan shows have been god awful. Like
Oh,
every
Usually.
Francis is the only one that's ever gotten popular or so that
exactly,
they
yeah.
made.
So,
Capellion, bad, like so bad, and Handshakers, that animation
Oh,
has
now
to
I
be
remember.
seen to
Oh
be
gosh, I
believed.
thought I had just blocked that handshakers
Yeah.
out. Oh,
And well, X Arm has lowered the animation bar drastically since then. But but the thing with Gohan's is that their animation is so bad now that it's so iconic now that if you watch it, you're just not going to get. You're just going to like, okay, this is just bad animation, but it's just another Gohan's anime. They can't really shock us anymore with their bad animation and
blew
their
all their budget
filters.
on K right out the door.
And K didn't really
that's
have
what it
great
seems
budget
like.
to begin with. Like, remember the 11th episode? I think when they were doing sword fights, and it was just
Right.
Oh, you mean like when the blues I think were fighting?
yeah, yeah,
When there's like multiple people fighting, it started to get really
yeah,
choppy.
yeah, yeah.
From what I've seen of the second season, they like the budget kind of gets picked up just a little bit, but they also introduce a third faction that it seems like the 4chan faction that's like they're green and their whole thing is like video games, or they're like playing Pokemon Go
Hmm.
with the other red team and the blue team, and it's just
It always reminded
it's
me a
so
little
silly.
bit of like Durarara, how the clans and like how they had like the mafia, and then you had like the
Yeah.
dollars, and then
Yeah,
And the
yeah,
Russians.
isn't Ikebukuro Westgate Park also kind of similar like that?
Well,
I know.
it's basically Durarara without the supernatural powers.
Hmm.
that we know of.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah. Yeah. From what I've been told about the second season, because I had some old online friends who watched it because they really liked it. The first season of the movie, they did not like the second season. I think they said that it just went nowhere,
Hmm.
and that it was
Yeah.
that's pretty much it.
I saw the movie after the first season. I really liked the first season. I saw the movie and I was kind of like, I don't think this looks like it's going pretty south. I'm gonna just I'm gonna hop off this train here.
All I
Yeah.
remember from the movie was that fight where the camera just swirled around, and then they just and I and then they clashed swords, but I can't remember. I think it was the guy who was I think it was the swordsman who was hanging out with the main protagonist who was in that fight. I can't remember his name. It's been a long time, but
Dog. This is code. But yeah, that's
oh
I
yeah,
don't
the
remember what his
dog.
name
Yeah, I
was.
think his name was. I think he
Uh,
had a dog code or something. But
this is like a odd show and just everything going around with it in general. I did like the one thing I liked about it was the like metaphor of the swords of Damocles that was like above them. You guys didn't know it's just like an old Greek concept of story, and that's like the king holds all the power, and everyone's like, oh wow, the king must be
God,
such a great thing.
how many Final
But
Fantasy
then
games have used that?
it's been pretty common in
Yeah.
Japanese media and stuff. It turns out when one of the servants is like, "Oh, I wish I could be the king for the day," and it's like, "Well, look up," and there's like this huge sword that was hanging by a horse's hair that like represents a couple things. But it's basically like their will to people that if something goes wrong, then it could just come down and kill them, yeah, presumably. But it's so to like show all these swords like up above the king. It's like they had some cool concepts, I guess, but just the story and just where they went with them, yeah, it's a mess.
Too
Yeah,
bad
well,
it's the end of the
well,
first
that's what we expect from Gohans these days, isn't it? Yeah,
I think we should have seen it in this earlier show then for some of their later.
I remember when people.
Yeah.
I remember when people said. I remember when people said back then that they got some pretty talented people, but they couldn't write for shit. I don't think the talent that the animators are talented anymore. No, unless you want to. I mean, unless you mean talented in making my eyes bleed. I mean,
talent.
This, yeah, certainly a unique show.
yes,
Yeah,
like.
yeah, from
Do
video
you
game
remember?
news.
Do you remember the premise of Handshakers? How you literally like fall in love and then you pull the
Something
weapon
with the
out
girls,
of.
yeah, and then they turn into weapons or
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is not a new concept at
No,
all. Like
not
Ujin
even.
did that and all that.
Oh, there's tons
But
of them.
I know there's so much of that. But yeah. Oh yeah. And before people say anything, yes, I do know of Redo of a Healer. I am fully aware of Redo of a Healer, aka NTR Anime the series. I did try to watch the first episode to see what was going on, but unfortunately, Verve, for some reason, did not put any goddamn subtitles on the video file that I chose to watch in, so I couldn't understand what was being said. Like the only thing I mean, I know what happens based on the summary. They bully this white mage, and so he seeks revenge on them, which is the most stupidest thing ever. Because anyone who has ever played an RPG will know how valuable white mages are. So it's like, why is this? Sounds like the stupidest conflict ever. And the animation, and from what I saw, was pretty garbage. It's like, yeah, yes. So yes, I do know about the series, but if Verve will not let me watch the show in subtitles, then I am not going to bother. Okay, they obviously don't want me to watch the show, and society doesn't want me to watch the show. So why should I put in the effort to like give it attention?
We're just trying to protect
Fair
you,
up.
Justin.
I mean, yeah, I did like the mature warning at the beginning of it though. Yeah, and I also did like a joke that I saw when someone reviewed the first episode, saying I would rather marathon a Gohan's anime than sit through this
God.
first episode ever again.
Well, let's dig into some video game news.
Yes.
Been a lot. There's been so much this past couple weeks. Nick, you mentioned something about Nintendo banning
Yes.
Pokemon players.
Yeah, there's a couple quick stories I came across. They're really trying to crack down. Nintendo, Game Freak, they haven't been so great at preventing people from banning or for preventing people from hacking Pokemon in pretty much every other Pokemon game. So now with Sword and Shield being as online as it is, and Pokemon Home and all this, they're trying to implement some more features. So if you've ever played a battle with someone that like their Pokemon was named www.matchamps.com or something, that's like illegally generated, and they're trying to crack down on that. So like, because they could give the guys like moves that they couldn't normally learn, abilities that they couldn't have, Wonder Guard on your Spiritombs, like all these shenanigans. So they're now starting to ban people from even using Pokemon Home then if they catch wind that you have something like this. So it's made a lot of people upset, that like, but kind of, I don't know if you've been using these guys and like for playing the online like ranked tournament battles and stuff. I guess I don't feel that bad because
Yeah.
you really shouldn't be doing that. But that's been something that's been rolling out this past week. Also, interestingly, then there's a YouTuber that's been working to kind of modify the game, but in terms of textures. Some of the animations and models in recent Sword and Shield have been getting a lot of flack, for one reason being some of the colorations of the Pokemon have been slightly off. So a guy figured out actually how to recreate or modify textures. But he's doing it for a noble purpose in the sense that he's making a pack that you can download that will fix shiny colors of certain Pokemon that have been kind of pastelized or kind of
Mm.
like modified in some way or another.
They just
So
changed
it's
some of them because some of the shinies are awful.
some
Just
I wish
terrible.
they
Just
weren't
like
all
a
these like
ugly
purple
green.
green
Yeah,
Mars
it's like what is
colors.
it?
Yeah. So
It's
that may be
like
the next step, maybe.
it's like
To even
Charizard's
fame.
just like what, a green tint or
Oh,
something.
Charizard, I think they finally it was originally this purpley
Mm.
goo color, but they finally he's black now, and that one looks kind of neat.
Yeah,
But
that was a change though. 'Cause I thought I
yes,
remember
that wasn't the original though, in
I thought I
Gold and
remember
Silver.
Charmeleon was like green, and I was like, why?
Because it's a shiny.
Yeah. So some of these,
Uh,
who knows what's
Gengar's
gonna
green,
happen.
or he was green.
That one,
Okay.
yeah, also not the best. Um, so yeah, that's just some odd Pokemon news that's not directly Pokemon company created news. Another one then too is that there's been a early build of Ocarina of Time that was found on a F-Zero GX, a different like Nintendo 64 game card that was
Mm.
like found in the wild basically. That was been really interesting because it came out 2 years before the official game came out in 1999, I want to say, and it just had a lot of neat things for people that are interested in beta builds of games. This being their first like real 3D Zelda adventure. So this has some interesting like items. All the medallions were originally going to be like magic spells, stuff like that.
Hmm.
Beta dungeons, the unicorn fountain. If anyone's heard of that, it's just some interesting lore. And there's like a also a way to patch your Nintendo 64 game or a ROM of that if you happen to have that, so that you too can experience these pre-release development kind of levels and builds. That if you're just very interested in Zelda lore, it may just be me that's interested in this, but it's okay. It's just some interesting stuff for development of one of the more famous Zelda games of all time.
Very
Um,
cool.
but then there's also some stuff we found out about Half-Life and all.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
speaking of unreleased games,
yeah.
Jamar, you want to talk a little bit about how much you hate Gabe Newell?
I think I'm gonna pass on that one. I'll go pass it to you because I dealt with the whole Half-Life thing almost all
Yeah,
my life.
you're like, oh
I'm
man,
very
it's been so long. It's a dead meme.
yeah. Also, by the way, don't Google shiny Gengar in Google. You get some not
Hmm.
safe thing to work. So
Well,
Oh
I
That
have
no.
reminds
safe
me
search
of
on, so
that reminds me of there's a Sword and Shield Pokemon Genitalia mod if anybody's interested. Um,
Oh no, I cannot recommend this.
um,
There's all kinds of stuff coming out now, but
yeah,
there's definitely some less
back
wholesome stuff too, I
back
suppose.
to Valve. There's been reports that after some interviews with Gabe Newell that after the success of Half-Life Alyx on the Index and other VR platforms, it being like the top selling VR game ever, probably. I think it is. It's definitely the top selling on Steam for sure. It accounted for like 70% of their VR sales over this season, and yeah, so because it did so well, it came as a huge shock to Gabe that people wanted to play Valve games. So I mean, they're preparing to crank out some new ones. Who knows if it's gonna be? There's not been any official confirmation of Half-Life 3. From what I've heard, they've essentially canceled development on it, and Alex was sort of a rewrite of the story. Because I think Alex is a prequel to the Half-Life series, right?
Yeah, well, I
And
mentioned it a little
yeah, it
bit
is.
in the last podcast, but like at the end of Alex, they kind of drop you back into
mhm,
two, and some shenanigans
yeah.
happen that I don't want to spoil, but um, yeah, it's an odd like because you play as Alex,
Mhm.
then Gordon Freeman's companion in two, and it's yeah, just a kind of side story, but then it
Uh,
ties back into the main story and the occupation of City 17. I want to say.
so they're gonna make essentially a Half-Life Alex 2, and then we're gonna be back at square one where they don't want to make Alex 3, and then there's gonna be another reboot. So, but who knows
Half-Life
what's
Alyx
gonna
blue
happen?
shift or something weird.
If you were in the know, there was also not too long ago, I think about 5 months ago, roughly, there was a Left 4 Dead 2 update all out of nowhere, and it was a huge update that added, I think, a whole new like side campaign. Basically, is what it was, and it was free if you owned Left 4 Dead 2. You could go right in and play that new campaign. But yeah, Valve is looking to crank out games again. Maybe with I think Dota 2's lost a little bit of steam, so that was not an intentional pun. But I think since Dota 2 may be kind of underperforming in the esports scene, maybe they're looking to develop more. And since seeing Half-Life Alyx's success, they're like, oh yeah, we can make money if we choose. So yeah.
Don't we all? That's what I mean. That's what the GameStop got guys are. Well, not the GameStop guys, but the Redditors are doing
Yeah.
with GameStop. So
But in other news, I don't know if you guys heard, but Activision was dismantling Vicarious Visions, which is a studio that's been with them, to my knowledge, since back in 2005. They were the original developers of the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series, and did a lot of the development of the Crash Bandicoot games on the GBA once Activision got a hold of Crash from Naughty Dog. And they also did obviously the Crash Bandicoot remakes recently that were a big hit. Um, so they essentially dismantled the studio that's been with Activision for like ever, and has done really good work for them to merge them in with Blizzard, which, if you don't know, Activision Blizzard's essentially a merged company with Activision, but they really just kind of feel like a subsidiary at this point because they don't really have much stake in anything, it feels like.
And
Um,
plus, I think most of the original people from Blizzard already
yeah,
left.
they exited
So
essentially. Mike Morheim is no longer there, and he was, I believe, the president for like the longest time of Blizzard, and voice of Thrall in World of Warcraft, and the people who had the original vision at Blizzard have, for the most part, been either replaced or exited. And with this merger of like 200 something employees, I saw, and then the Vicarious Visions president went to join he went to join the leadership team in Blizzard. It feels like another power move by Activision to control even more stakes in Blizzard and make sure they have more say over the company direction. But not that they didn't already, because it's been abundantly clear over the past 4 or 5 years that Activision's had a lot of pull on where Blizzard went. And if you didn't know, I want to say Activision merged with Blizzard in 2012. Let me check really quick. It's been a while.
yeah,
It's been a
it's been some
while.
time.
It was like I vividly remember the merger. Back right in the middle of the Wrath of the Lich King expansion of WoW, and they merged with Blizzard, and I'm like, this is a shit show. This is just gonna go south. But we didn't really see it happen until like around 2015, 2016. I mean, I feel like you didn't really see Activision pulling really hard on Blizzard until Overwatch's release, personally. Then they knew, hey, we can make some money here. But this just kind of overall, so I don't diverge into a big Blizzard rant. This kind of sucks because Vicarious just put out the Vicarious Visions just put out the Tony Hawk Pro Skater remakes, and those if you're watching the Game Awards, won Best Racing Games of the Year somehow. So
Oh,
and they've been
no,
widely
they were good
acclaimed,
remake.
like by all the people who are fans of the Pro Skater series. They were awesome. Um, Obviously because they're original developers, so it makes sense. Um, but now with this new dismantling and merging in with Blizzard, they're not allowed to develop their own titles. They'll essentially just be all they're all being moved to assisting with Blizzard titles. So Diablo 2 remake, the Warcraft remakes, if those are still planned. But from what I've heard, mostly Diablo 2 is probably where they're going to send them.
That's
which
really
is
sad.
sounds like a mess to me. It sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, they're great at remakes. They'll do great with Diablo 2," but I'm like, they just don't have they don't have dungeon crawler experience. They've never done anything like that. They've never even done anything remotely close to an RPG. Not to belittle the talent of the guys at Vicarious, they do great work, but uh, I think we should be a little bit concerned on the direction of these remakes are going to go now that a lot of it isn't people who originally worked on the game and people who might not understand new directions to modernize Diablo 2 or the Warcraft games, because we saw that like even Warcraft 3 by Blizzard's whole in-house team was poorly received. I mean, that another team can come and put out Diablo 2, which is a staple Blizzard game, is unlikely to me, but we'll see. It might work out. I hope it does, but
What are the chances of Crash getting put into Heroes of the Storm? I guess.
I always
Oh,
Got it
forget.
dear
ready?
Lord.
I always forget Heroes of the Storm is even still going, because didn't they like
Is it?
stop? Didn't they halt
I
all
don't know.
development?
Yeah.
They halted all development, I think.
I never played it.
It's
I
just
have no idea.
maintenance at this point, I think, because Activision's like, this isn't making money, and then they just kind of like pulled the shutters on it, and they're like, yeah, no more development, just maintain it. It ain't no Hearthstone. We ain't putting money in this.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's no
God.
money.
But yeah, it's a vicarious position. No.
Yeah, but
um, what's
if I
up?
add one more thing on the
Yeah,
Vicarious merge, it is sad because they no longer would have kind of quote unquote their vision on how they want to make games. It's similar to what they did with the Call of Duty series. Was it like Sledgehammer and
Sledgehammer,
Treyarch,
Treyarch. Yeah,
and they're just basically supporting the game and not really making their own games, which
yeah,
it's
sucks.
sad. And I remember when that started happening. Activision kind of pit the two studios against each other, or who can make a better Call of Duty game.
Yeah,
So it doesn't make for a good environment, but we'll
yeah,
see if anything changes.
yeah. Hopefully, and I mean, not that goes without mentioning. All the great work they've done with Bungie over the past few years with the Destiny games. But if you're interested in the future of Crash or the future of Spyro, Toys for Bob is taking over. They did the Spyro remake, and they did the most recent Crash 4 game, which leads me to believe that since they did the Crash 4 development, this Vicarious merge was planned for a while. So they didn't even want to get them on Crash 4 development until that dismantling finished. So Toys for Bob's taken over. Could be a good or bad thing. I've heard a little bit of mixed reception of Crash 4. I know a lot of people liked it. I've liked the Toys for Bob Spyro remakes.
Oh, yeah, those
Which
are really good.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean it's fairly foolproof. You know, Spyro's already laid out for them. It's already a really great game, but they did a good job. Not
I
to
think,
speak
yeah.
little of it, but they did a good
Regarding
job.
Crash Bandicoot 4, while I haven't played it yet, but while I do know about some of the problems, I think people are more satisfied with Crash 4 than they are of any of the other Crash games after it left Naughty
Oh
Dog.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, definitely.
but yeah, but word of warning, as some people have said, do not try to 100% complete Crash Bandicoot 4. You will have a miserable
I
time.
want to 100% any Crash game. It sounds
Yeah,
awful.
Yeah.
seems
I
impossible.
did actually 100% Crash Bandicoot 2 because that was actually pretty easy. That 100%.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting because a lot of people are speculating that either Spyro or Crash may be getting into Smash Bros. Then as one of the remaining 3 Fighter Pass
Yeah.
characters.
Some people, but I see more
Who
people
knows?
mean,
speculating
I
about
don't
Ryu from the
Dante.
Ninja Gaiden series and I guess the Dead or Alive series too, getting in.
I don't feel like yeah, I don't know.
What are
I
your
don't
guys'
feel like
thoughts?
any changes to I don't feel like that really increases Crash's chances in any way. Is it because did
Right.
Crash 4 come out on Switch? Is that why?
No, it hasn't.
I
Then
don't
yeah,
think
I
it.
really
It's
don't.
pe-
If it came out on Switch, I'd be like, okay, maybe. But heck,
I mean,
Persona
I
5
know the
didn't
Crash
even come out.
trilogy is on Switch now, but yeah, that
Yeah,
Final
one is.
Fantasy remake didn't come out on Switch either,
Yeah,
though.
so, I
Wait,
mean,
and they still put Sephiroth on there, so I have
Doesn't
no
have
idea.
Final Fantasy. Final
Yeah,
Fantasy.
that one is just because it's Final Fantasy VII, though. To be
that's
fair,
about I feel like Crash in there is about as likely as Rayman getting in.
some people have speculated that Rayman is going to be in, though.
Well, I mean, it's a higher chance than Crash in
Yeah.
my opinion because
Yeah,
they
that's
work
true.
really.
Yeah,
Microsoft
you-
and Nintendo do have a
like,
real good relationship.
They work
There
good with
one of
Yubi.
Rayman's best
Yeah.
games was on the N64, Rayman 2. People
Yeah.
really love that one.
Yeah, that was a good.
And
What's the
Ubisoft,
Legends? I think.
Rayman
Uh,
Legends.
but-
Yeah.
That
yeah,
was
Rayman
good.
Legends is good too, but that's on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, they
But-
have a good working relationship with Ubisoft and have had that for years. So I mean, that would be reasonable.
I don't think Ryu from Ninja Gaiden's gonna make it. I love Ninja Gaiden series, but I can't remember the last Team Ninja game.
Neo 2.
Neo 2?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
but
crap.
they
Yeah.
did the Neo games,
And
but
IOH.
they also worked with Nintendo on Other M. They did the development of Other M, so it's not
Yes,
like they
but
don't
we don't.
have.
But not. A more recent one
Maybe
though
don't
would be
put them in
Hyrule.
then.
Would be
Well, I was
Hyrule
just saying,
Warriors.
they've worked with them before, and yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot they were co-developers on Hyrule Warriors with
That's
Koei
why.
Tecmo.
That's why the main female antagonist
Oh.
had big boobs because Team
Oh.
Ninja.
Yeah,
The
right,
original
Yeah,
right.
Hyrule Warriors. I see.
Yeah, but yeah. So I mean, it's not like they haven't worked with Team Ninja before, so that's on there. And didn't Team Ninja do Devil's Third?
Yeah. No. That was the head of Team Ninja who had left at the time. Making his own company and
Okay,
such.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That makes sense. That didn't go well.
No, Devil's Third was pretty bad.
But yeah. Tamara, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about here?
Yeah, I'll hit on what was it? Almost a week ago, Microsoft decided to raise the price of their Xbox Live service to $120, which got instant backlash
Annually?
annually.
Okay.
Which, when you think of it as the grand scheme of things, it makes sense because they've been buying studios, they've been putting a lot more investment into Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, those services, you gotta get money somewhere. But
Yeah.
it kind of reminds me of like old school Microsoft. It's like, we got you hooked, and now we go triple the price on something.
So explain to me
You gotta
this,
buy
since
Microsoft Office again.
Yeah.
The price goes up.
I haven't been been on Xbox in a while, so I like, if you get Game Pass Ultimate, does that come with gold?
It
Or
does.
okay, so I
Ultimate
mean,
covers everything.
so yeah, if that's a good package, at least a good package deal. You get the instant library, you get gold. Um, but didn't initially when it came out, it was two separate subs.
It was two separate,
Yeah,
and
okay.
then basically they
That's what
combined it
confused me.
together.
Yeah, so that makes sense. But yeah, this was weird. It just felt like a power move to push people to Ultimate in that regard.
I mean, again, it makes sense because Ultimate is a good value.
Yeah.
Like, for what you get. I think they should have just kind of eased it in, like maybe $20 last year, and this year maybe another 10 or so. Like, kind of get people used to it. Because
Yeah.
think about it, we just hit $69.99 price tag for games,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a lot of hoopla on that. So you gotta kind of massage people into this. But I'm glad that they took it back for now, and they'll figure a way to get the money by making people buy more Office. And one thing I want to touch into, uh, I got like a survey from Square Enix. They're like, "Hey, we just want to know what you think of our games because based on your activity with us, we just want to know about your opinion." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever."
Review bomb
So
them.
yeah, so they started with the questions like what systems you play, what games have you played, and then it goes, hey, you play RPGs. What RPGs you play? I'm like, oh, Final Fantasy 14, blah 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 blah. It's like, you ever heard of a game called The World Ends With You? I'm like, oh yeah, I played the game lots of times as a kid. Then for like almost 40 minutes, they're like, Watch
We
all
found
these
someone
trailers.
that's
They're
actually
like,
played the game. It's just like, oh no.
so I watched like 10 different trailers, and they're like, do you feel like this action is stylistic? And how do you feel about the main character? Is that somebody you can relate to? I'm like, I'm a big black guy in America. And they're like, what if you could customize the character's pigment? I'm like, go ahead. And they're like, hey, we have animation. I'm like, yes. They're like, all right. So what do you think? How the animation should tie into the game? I'm like, those are two separate things. And like they just kept pushing on how can we make the world ends with you better. I'm like, they're trying to make like a whole universe, like a series out of this now. I'm like, dude, you only had one game like 20
Yeah,
years ago on the DS that was fun.
yeah, it's
But
like
that being said, the gameplay I did get to see and some of the story does look good. It does actually look promising. It's
mhm.
starting to Square Enix starting to do like the same thing with their combat, what they got from Nier Automata and like Final Fantasy 14. So instead of having the touchscreen and use little pucks
Mm.
for the fight, now it's actual more action orientated, which I'm kind of excited about. So when I hear more about it, because they said I might get a copy of the game,
Ooh,
I'll let you
Oh,
guys
sweet.
know.
I was about to say if you did like some 40-minute survey, they better give you like a freaking gift card or like a free copy of the game or something.
They just put a couple of more 100 points for the Square Enix store in my account.
You, you, I wonder if the music's gonna be as good as the first one, because that was a big pull for me. Is the composition was so good on the original. It's just when it's going through a DS speakers, it's kind of hampered a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the overworld music I heard, it sounds really good.
Okay.
Like, well, I mean, this looks promising. It really does look promising.
Look
It's
forward
not
to it.
like
Yeah.
half-ass. Oh, we'll just port the DS
Yeah.
and do
I heard
weird
bad things about the
CGI.
Switch port.
Yeah, so have
It's so
I.
bad.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
but cool.
But so
Since we
Jamar, you're saying that if the new game doesn't turn out great, then it's all your fault.
yeah,
So your survey answers. No,
it's
I'm kidding. I'm
the
kidding. I'm kidding.
the
I doubt that,
the
that's gonna
sequel game's
happen.
riding on you.
Yeah, they go blame
Sorry.
me.
It's
No, I'm looking forward
Invest,
to it. Yeah,
yeah,
hopefully.
investment mean blame
since
this person, Jamar.
Oh, no.
since we were talking about Microsoft or Xbox a second ago, I wanted to. I remembered that they just had an IP just come out. Didn't the Medium just come out?
Yeah, well, is it out
Mm,
yet? I know of
Yeah,
it.
it came out. It came out Thursday, I think, because that's something I preloaded because I was really interested in it. That's from the great people at Bloober Team.
Mhm.
The people who did Blair Witch for Xbox as well.
oh, wow.
Wasn't the Blair Witch game bad though, from what I heard?
It was mixed. I got into it and I was like, this is awful, but I'm sure some people enjoyed it.
Was that the one with the dog?
Yeah, it was buggy as hell. I couldn't play it. I remember the dog just kept barking at me constantly. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong? And then I reloaded and I'm like, oh, it's just bugged. But yeah, it was. I didn't really enjoy that one, but due to thanks to Game Pass, most of the time, I think pretty much all the time, if it's a new Xbox IP, it hits Game Pass immediately, and I have it preloaded to play. Well, it's not preloaded anymore since it's out, so I can play it right now. I'm looking forward to it because it looks like a really fun horror game, and I think they said they took a lot of notes from the Resident Evil series, Evil Within series, um, Silent Hill. It looks fun, and it looks really spooky. So I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah, maybe
Quick
next
shout out.
podcast you'll have to
Go
let us
ahead.
know how it goes.
Yeah. On one quick shout out on Hitman 3 was released and also Cyber Shadow. I haven't got a chance to play Hitman 3, but looking at the previews and stuff,
Cyber
they
Sh-
nailed it.
Cyber
Yeah,
Shadow is
yeah.
the
Yeah.
Yacht Club
The
game.
that's the new game by the Shovel Knight guys.
Yeah,
It's
Yacht
like
Club.
It's like this pixel art like running hack and slash game
Yeah,
play.
it's like
I
Ninja Gaiden. It's basically Ninja Gaiden
Yeah,
Or
original from
yeah,
like
Strider.
the 80s.
yeah.
Strider.
Just wanted to do a quick shout out to make sure that those games are out now and people seem to like them. So if you're in for new games, then yeah, check them out. Although don't take my word for it personally because I have yet to play any of the games. I still haven't played
Did,
the first. I still have yet to play a Hitman game.
yeah, I was
Honestly.
gonna say, did anyone play the Hitman reboots?
I did.
Okay,
They
they're
were
good.
fun.
Okay,
Like
because I
with the
remember
elusive targets, it
uh,
was fun. Like
the old ones I hated. They were just so annoying. It's like, oh, you have to like go through this. You have to kill this guy right in front of this entire crowd, and I'm like, how do I do that? And there's like
well,
literally no hints whatsoever. You have to look
aren't
at a
the
walkthrough.
Hitman games like? Well, didn't the early Hitman games vary in quality? Like I heard Hitman Blood Money was an absolute blast, but Hitman Absolution was like,
Yeah, I heard that too.
that was a low point.
Yeah, but
But
that sounds fun. It's nice to see an assassin game stay an assassin game. I'm
yeah,
looking at you, Assassin's Creed.
I
yeah,
have a feeling. Yeah.
and also like Ghost of Tsushima. While the main plot of that game is about a noble samurai turning into assassin. The stealth is so easy in that
Mm.
game that it's like not. It's like yeah, the anime AI is so brain dead that you pretty much can like it doesn't take a genius to assassinate
But
them.
that's like part of the charm is dumb enemy AI, right? Like if they're too smart, then you're like, well, I can't fucking stealth.
Well, yeah, like how Last of Us was at times when you bothered those zombies that
Yeah,
that one hit kill
and
you.
they just have ridiculous sight radius, and you're like, come
yeah,
on.
Yeah.
like I
Um,
was nowhere near you guys.
but we've put it off long enough, y'all. We got to talk about Genshin
Yeah.
1.3.
This time.
Yeah. Oh
Oh
yeah.
man, I was getting like some like withdrawals there. I was like, man, I need to talk about Genshin. It's been about 30 minutes.
It's only 30. But yeah,
Man,
Been away
I
from playing it too
yeah.
and talking on the podcast.
Yeah, I've only seen a little bit of like the trailers for the 1.3 update. Like apparently like the is there some like tower thing that's
it's a tower
different?
defense mini game
Yeah,
they're
tower defense
adding.
mini game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, there's a tower defense mini game. There's a new boss that apparently looks cool
yeah, I think they
and
have a couple new ones.
yeah. I'm not familiar with any of the new characters besides Xiao and some kind of like special Kaching.
Yeah, so I'll dive into it a little bit. So first, if you are interested in the update they made and learning about the update coming, they put out a live stream video. They've started doing that ever since 1.2 because it's sort of their own way of combating leaks and leakers and data miners, just so they can, hey, here's all your content, just shut up for like 3 weeks. So um that's what they've been doing, and they did it again with 1.3. So far, we know it's coming February 3rd, um, and they're kind of pacing 1.3 out, I guess, to give people like me more time to actually have content. So they're starting with the Zhao banner, like Justin said, and Zhao, if you don't know anything about Genshin, has technically been in the game for a long time. Like he was in closed beta way well before the release back in September of 2020. Uh, I think they didn't put him in because they're like, oh, we need to restructure Zhao. I think from what everybody suspects is he was too broken. Like he was too powerful of a character to really put in the game. They wanted to do more closed beta testing and figure out how to rebalance him with the rest of the team comps that are in the game now. Hope it seems like he's done. I've heard him described as like a Dynasty Warriors character because he seems like very hack and slashy. He pounces on enemies, double jumps in the air, slams down with his spear. It looks like really fun, gratifying combat style. His burst almost reminds me of like a Majora's Mask Link from Hyrule Warriors, where he just like throws on a fierce deity looking mask and then he just goes ham on people. He's got this like Oni mask he puts on, and that's his burst. So he'll put on that mask and he does a lot more damage. But while he's in that form, he slowly drains his health. So that'll be an interesting play style to put in. So you'll probably have to run Barbara. So, but yeah, there's that, and he's coming along with the Lunar Festival. And the Lunar Festival looks like it's going to be its own like little shop like usual with events. And I think from what I've gathered, to get the currency, you have to do that tower defense event to get the shop, and materials for Zhao, I think, are going to be part of it too. Um, Also, there is going to be a King banner, which after Zhao's banner ends on February 17th, which is a short time frame. You have the 3rd to the 17th to get Zhao. That's 2 weeks. It's like the shortest banner we've ever had for the character everybody wants. But there's a King banner, so you can get King with a high rate up. If you don't have King yet, I've unfortunately pulled 2 over, so I'm staying as far away from that banner as I possibly can. And we get 3 4-star characters on February 18th. So we get to pick from Ningguang, Baido, Zhangling, Xingqi, Dongyun, and Zhenyan. I will. That's a lot of those characters are really good. So it's
Yeah,
gonna be
I've
a
heard
hard
Ning
choice.
Wong is pretty it's pretty
Yeah,
good.
I
You got
like
you got your
I
constellation maxed out.
yeah I maxed out Ningguang, so that's not gonna be a pull for me. Uh,
Yeah.
I'll probably go Xinyan because she's a really good fire support, and her burst is like a ton of damage, and I need more of her constellation, so I'll probably pull
Yeah.
her.
Shin Q, is that the
The book
boy
guy.
with the
Say the water sword.
Hawaii?
Yeah, water
Yeah.
sword, blue haired.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in the he's in the Ganyu banner, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yes.
he was in the Ganyu banner.
I've been trying to make him work because he can also kind of
He
Yeah,
heal
he's
he's
damage reduction,
great
but
apparently a great support
yeah,
character.
he's the
ah,
best support in the game
Yeah,
right now.
you have to look up how to use him as a great
it's a
support,
little
but
tricky.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, but he is like S tier support if you know
it's
how to use him.
essentially he's sort of like Fischl in a way, where you can just kind of drop his rain swords and then swap out, and then whoever is your main damage, whenever they hit, they're gonna spawn rain swords that just fly into the enemy, so it's just extra damage. And he generates so much energy recharge particles whenever you do his E skill that
Yeah.
that's why he's top tier support right now. It's just
Yeah.
he's got so much utility.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want my character build session, that's gonna be just after this stream. But yeah, so the lantern event's gonna have tower defenses. There's gonna be a curious camera event. So if you were finished with Dragon Spine, actually, I don't think you have to finish Dragon Spine to get the quest. But if you go to Luwei and the harbor, there is a quest to get a curious camera, which is essentially like a little camera to take screenshots in game. You can take selfies in parts of the areas, and this new event is going to be, from what I've gathered, you're going to use that new camera feature to take pictures of certain areas of Tavat, and get primogems and rewards and everything and all the good stuff. Uh, yeah, and there's also a leyline event. I'm actually looking forward to this one. It's nothing cool or anything, but they just double the leyline drops, which I'm so desperate for at this point. Like, just give me XP books, give me money, I need it. And then they're introducing new enemies, of course, new investigations. So this new investigation system is going to be like multiple days. You'll have some party members going on investigation for multiple days. They'll find tracks of a boss, from what I've gathered, and once they finish their investigation, you have the ability to go fight the boss. So it's going to be like a new way of incorporating a new boss, I think. It's going to be cool. Glad to have some new content in the game to play. They're doing a good job of getting routine updates out, so I don't get too bored. But yeah.
And Hu Tao's also coming out then too, right?
Hotel's rumored,
Oh,
but we don't know for
It's
sure.
that's a data mine.
Yeah.
We don't talk
We
about
unfortunate.
that.
yeah.
It's
The Twitter was like, Hu Tao? It was like,
it's
oh.
suspected that she might come 1.5. Like she may have been
Yeah.
a really early data mine. So
Yeah.
Because I know some of the characters like talk about
I
her, but
I want Rosario
you
to
know,
come out.
that would
I
be
want
cool too.
Rosario to
Yeah,
come out.
she killed Venti so quick, and it was like, oh man, she must be strong. So I think that was a nice one. But yeah, it'll be curious. Or I'm curious to see where it'll go with the game.
Yeah. Um I just kind of need more 4 stars because with all my whaling, I've just kind of I don't have many 4 stars left. I need a C6. So.
Yeah. So which ones would you want to that you not have C6 that you'd want to C6?
Jinyan, Diona, I think that's it.
Yeah, because it's pretty easy to get the others to C6 because they've been in banner aside from the free to play
Yeah,
characters.
like
Because
everybody's
they've
been
been
multiple times already except for
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, that was why the Ganyu 4-star was like a bit controversial because it's like because at that point a lot of people would have Noel, Shinkyu, and I forgot who the other 4-star was. C6.
The
Uh,
fire spear.
Hey,
I can't
Jangling,
pronounce the name,
Jangling's been given
but
out a few
yes.
times.
I
Barber's
think that's the last one.
been given out like 3 times.
Well, was Barbara on that one?
Well, she was given out for free from events.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
she was also, I think, on the Venti banner too. I think, but she hasn't been since, so she's probably going to be on the Zhao banner if you ask me.
The rule I see with like Genshin Impact banners is that they switch from a male character to a female character for a 5-star with each one, and that all the 4-stars that are also promoted along with them must be of a different element.
Yeah, I haven't really noticed a huge pattern, but they do want to make sure the elements are correlate well with the 5-star so that
And
you like
also
have a
none of-
balance.
Yeah. And also none of the free-to-play characters like Amber, Lisa, and Kaya are allowed to be on those banners.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. They haven't done it so far.
Interesting.
The only way to really get a duplicate is to pull them, just
From the
RNG,
standard.
pull them from the standard banner or buy them from the Stardust shop whenever they pop up. But
yeah, pretty much.
I don't really know why you would.
Well, I've heard Lisa's actually pretty good.
Lisa can be good. Lisa can be good because she's another character where you can just kind of lay down her Electro Circle and you can just swap out, and it's just sort of like a sentry turret of just zappies. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, that's pretty much all my Genshin shilling for now. We'll see. By the time we have our next episode, I'll be done with 1.3, so I'll talk about it.
Already beat the whole.
Maybe there'll be more reasons to hate Reckless Palette in 1.3.
I'll be genuinely surprised if I'm not done with it by then.
Yeah. Because Reckless Palette, my God, he's been a punching bag for like a month.
Wait,
he has.
Was that the guy that beat up Sucrose or like?
He pushed her, and then he pushed you for the
worst.
Yeah, and he's always attacked by monsters, like stray monsters.
He's always needing to get saved.
He is the worst.
Ever since that event, people started memeing on how much they hate him. Like I remember seeing you guys know that JoJo Golden Win meme where I forget the guy's name, the one where they're like beating on some dude and the guy and then the guy just drinking like and then he joins in the beating. Yeah, they did that for Reckless Palette.
Yeah, fuck Reckless Palette.
Yeah,
can all agree on that.
It's one thing. It's like you push the waifus, and to top it off, you always have to constantly get saved. So it's like there's reasons you don't like them.
But yeah, that's pretty much all the video game news we have. To talk about some events we have coming up right now, to my knowledge, all we have is the February anime discussion coming up at the end of February. So go ahead and vote or make a suggestion while you still can for the anime of discussion for February. The theme is Love's in the Air, as per usual.
But remember, it has to be a finished series, so you can't discuss Horimiya.
Yeah, or hentai. No hentai. That's not the kind of love in the air we want.
It's rare to find a genuinely romantic series in hentai.
You're not looking hard enough.
I do know some. I just wouldn't. It's just hard to find them because, like, I don't know why, but the Japanese people in their porn, they just love cuckolding. I don't get it. Well, actually, I do get it because it's like a fetish. It's like a fetish that you wouldn't actually do, but it's fine to imagine it, I guess. So
in other news, there's also the anime watch party, Astro Lost in Space.
We're doing Astro Lost in Space. We'll probably. I'm not sure if I'll do the watch party by the time this podcast episode comes out or not.
Yeah,
But
literally
rescheduled
today.
or
So
something, perhaps.
is the main thing, because it's
Oh,
like
right.
literally after I finish this podcast, like a few hours from now.
yeah, if you watch our
But-
podcast really quickly, put on 2x speed, you might make it in time.
Yeah.
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 But
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will. But yes, I will focus on some romance anime for the future watch parties. So look forward to that, guys, or just romance stuff in general.
yeah, that'll be good. You should maybe
Let's see,
maybe was it After the Rain? That's a good one.
After the rant. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That is that still on Amazon? Because I know Amazon took down a few shows
know.
recently.
I
I'll
don't
have
know.
to check. Yeah, we'll see.
Post in the comments box your suggestions. We will strongly consider them and probably not show them, but it's good to have feel like you have some agency.
Yeah, we got a whole Meetup suggestions channel though. Maybe we'll.
Yeah, I mean
watch them,
that's
you know?
we definitely
That
read
doesn't hurt.
that, and there's already been some really good feedback there. So feel free to just post some feedback for the podcast, for what you want to see happen in the group. Anything, just hate comments, we'll take them. We're built to steal.
Well, maybe you are. I'm built of paper.
But well, all right, everybody. I think that wraps up episode 5. That was a milestone, bit of a milestone.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
See you guys at the episode 10. But
Yeah.
thanks everybody
We
for
got
joining us.
the shirts too.
Oh yeah, we got the shirt.
Well, I can't. Yeah, I'm not. They just came in, so they're looking pretty good. Very cozy.
Yeah,
very 10 out.
yeah. Hopefully you got your orders in, and you can remotely rep the Dallas Anime Meetup.
Right. I guess when you're going to the store or whatever else.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
quarantine.
Going to the bathroom.
And somebody will just be like, "Hey, are
Work
you
hall.
from Dan?" And you're like, "Well, yes, I am."
Yes.
All right, guys. Thanks everybody for joining us for episode 5, and we're signing off.
Bye, guys.
Have a good one.